God help us.
In the last episode, I replaced every bit of the electrical on this, and I made a vow to get this thing running. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do in this episode. I hope.
I'm gonna get my body painted and mounted.
Oh.
In our last episode, I got a few odds and ends taken care of and got the body ready for paint.
It's alive! It's alive!
I need to have all of this squared away and ready to have the body covering most of it. I need to get these light housings cleaned up and LED bulbs put into all of them. There's proper wiring for the lights in front. I'm gonna have to build the wiring harness for the rear.
I have all the parts I need to get the brakes working on this thing. If you remember, the rear brake, the brake lever was broken, and looking at it closer, there's a bunch of stuff that's all bent out of shape over here. So I went ahead and got a new assembly. It comes with the lever and a new master cylinder. For the front, I thought I could get away with just replacing the lever because it's broken right here, and there's actually just one cable going to just one brake in the front that's actually hooked up. But looking at it closer, I noticed that the bracket holding it to the handlebars is broken. So went ahead and got another complete new unit for this side. It comes with the throttle also.
Before we go any further, we're gonna change the oil on both of these.
Yeah, we don't know how long it's been since this last oil change. It's always a good idea to start with fresh oil. What's it smell like?
It smells like that fruity smell of an old man mixed with some fried onions.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
So what's yours smell like?
Well, sure as hell doesn't smell like fried onions. I've got the battery fully charged. Let's see if this thing will at least turn over. This is a pair of wires that go up to the front brake lever. In order for this thing to start, you have to have the brake lever compressed. It's a safety thing. Unfortunately, the switch up here is completely gone. So we're gonna trick this thing into thinking that we're doing things safely. To do that, I'm gonna put a piece of wire in here and complete that circuit in between these two plugins. All right, turn the key on. I'm pretty sure it's in neutral. We'll find out soon enough. The kill switch is on the run position, and now we'll hit the starter button. Whoa! All right, we're on our way. Now, let's see if there's spark at the spark plug. There's spark. Now all we need is fuel.
For those of you who just joined us in this project,
this video series shows our progress on building our two new adventure rigs.
we're building these ATVs to take us on multi-day, self-supported camping trips.
The real unusual thing about these ATVs, they're built for kids.
We're on a strict budget to get these in running order to be able to haul us big kids along with all of our camping gear. I need to get paint on this body if it's going to be dry by the end of this episode. The body is really soft. When Mark sandblasted the old paint off, it left a textured surface. Instead of spending a ton of time trying to get it glassy smooth, I decided to take advantage of it and create a finish that's a little unusual. I decided to go with blood red and a clear satin finish.
Before I go any further into getting this thing running, I have to get the brakes working. I've got all the old stuff off, and you probably noticed that I've got different handlebars. I got these off a little kid's bike. Her and her mom were not real happy about that, but luckily I was able to outrun both of them. I also fashioned a spacer block out of plastic to raise the handlebars up even higher, and a block to serve as a dashboard. I just noticed that these grips are different. Two different styles.
The original lights are in pretty good shape, but not very bright. Some LED bulbs will fix that. Out with the old, in with the new. And the housings could use a good cleaning.
Holy shit, how much paint you putting on them?
To get the body on, I first have to take off these handlebars, kind of a pain in the ass. And I also need to take out the front rack and the back rack. It's easier to put the lights on now, and we think probably the footrest too, but we'll see how that goes.
All right, I'll hold it in place if you can just shove that stuff through the hole for the handlebars. There. Oh, the gas cap. That has to come off.
Should I take this rack off?
We may have to. What a pain in the Yeah, that's it. It's all yours.
I think, I don't know, I need some decals or maybe some skulls or glow-in-the-dark stars. It needs something. Okay, I've got the lights plugged in, but now before I put everything back together, I'm just going to test and make sure they work.
Okay, it's time to see if this thing runs. I've learned through a couple Facebook groups and some forums that these things really like a low alcohol content, high octane fuel. So that's what we have here. We'll turn the fuel valve on. All right, cross your fingers for me, folks. Key is on. Neutral light is on, so we know it's in neutral. Check the kill switch. Now we do have that safety switch hooked up to the brake, so the brake has to be compressed. We'll pull the choke on, and here goes. All right, I have to check everything. I found the problem. Two problems, actually. One was the throttle cable was hanging up, so carb was wide open, and also the choke lever down here, it's not choking it completely because that choke lever is hitting the frame. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to hold my hand on the air intake and give it a go. Oh, I put a zip tie on here just to cheat. Don't tell OSHA. Oh, I think it's going to start, guys. Okay, I got the lever bent, and now, yep, it closes all the way. Battery got pretty low, so I threw a charger on it. Let's give it another try. It's alive! Not by much. Whew. Definitely very cold-blooded. That carburetor probably needs a lot of adjustment. All right, it's idling. It's idling. We've won, folks. We've won.
Mine is pretty much done. And now that it is, I can tear it all apart and double check everything. Every wire and connector will be inspected and every nut and bolt will be checked. All the suspension points will be greased, but the paint job still needs a little something, don't you think?
It needs something.
Maybe flames or pinstripes or skulls.
Something. And something else that I noticed after we got the body on is it covers up a lot of stuff. Now we're just going to have to assume that out on the trail we're going to need to do some repairs on these things, and you can't really get to anything down there. It's really hard to get to the carburetor. In fact, it covers up the choke. That's really hard to get to. So I'm thinking we're going to have to look into cutting
a body mount chop.
Do a body mount chop right there on both sides so we can get the stuff. Mine needs a ton of work, but it's going to go a lot smoother now that I know this damn thing runs. Now looking at yours after the body is on and looking nice, I'm kind of anxious to form or get some sort of body panels on mine.
Yeah?
Yeah, here's some ideas I'm working on. I found a different gas tank for it. It's a lot bigger and it was free, but because of its extra length and because of my freakishly long legs, I'm gonna have to take and move these seat brackets back about 2 inches to accommodate. I'm gonna use the back half of that old cut up body that was originally on Merri's. This back half is still good, so I'm gonna mount that back here, kind of like a half body. I made some footrests out of an old aluminum sign, and I fashioned up some front fenders. What do you think?
Is that the snow shovel off the back porch?
Could be.
So, what are we up to dollar-wise?
Well, I ended up having to buy, as you know, both brake levers and assemblies up here. A quart of oil, the reverse and neutral gear indicator lights I had to buy. The amber one for first gear is actually a freebie. It was a side marker light off a semi-trailer. And of course, the handlebars were free. How about you?
A quart of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Some paint.
Uh-huh.
I think that's it.
That is it. Huh. You got off easy this time.
If you like this video, consider subscribing.
And look us up on Facebook and Instagram.
Now, about that shovel. We need to buy a new one. So that should be included.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's running. I can't hear you over it. Sorry. In the last episode, what did I do in the last episode?
You made a vow.
I made a vow. No, that comes later. In the last episode, okay, now I remember.
Textured surface. Bleh. The original lights, some LEDs will fix that. That sucked.
Panels or something on mine to make it look a little nicer than what it does right now.
Well, at least it runs.
At least it runs. Oh shoot, I forgot that line, didn't I? Damn it.